Hi everybody, Ron Placone here, and welcome to another edition of Media Bites. So, as the year is coming to an end, I wanted to do a Media Bites that has a little bit more sincerity and tone as we're getting ready to sign off for the holidays here. I'll probably just have a few more videos before I sign off for the year. But, so, Media Bites is about, looking at the main corporate media and exposing some of the problems with it and talking about some of the flaws with the media structure in the United States, a media structure that I feel is very unhealthy for a populace, for the idea of a democratic society to work. It's a very unhealthy thing for a number of reasons. And one of those reasons that I've been thinking about recently is kind of drawing a parallel here between what the main media, the corporate media, can learn from Ian MacKaye and Dischord Records. So for those of you that aren't familiar, I'll do just a real quick summary, and this is a very, short summary that's not real in depth, so if you want to learn more, please Google all these people. But Dischord Records is, first of all, it's singular. Dischord Records is a record label in Washington, D.C. that's been around since, I believe, 1979, 1980. It's been around a long time. They're first released by a group called the Teen Idols. Some of those guys later went on to form Minor Threat. And they were a label that focused on mostly hardcore punk. They've since expanded, and they do a lot of different types of music. But they were committed to community, and they were committed to Washington, D.C., and they were kind of committed to this do-it-yourself ethic where you kind of did your own thing, you set up your own tours, and that kind of way of doing things, that kind of like building a social movement around your art has really stayed in music scenes today, and even in other art scenes, even in comedy scenes now. And Ian MacKaye was somebody that was a very big figurehead in this movement and active in Dischord Records. And, there was a lot of other things that they were all about. They were straight edge, and, I personally don't identify as straight edge. So, but anyway, without going too in depth to what they're all about, that's basically the quick summary. And the reason I bring this up was because there was a documentary about Fugazi, which was one of his later bands that I believe is currently on hiatus, but still was active until recently. And Fugazi was pretty successful. And there was a documentary kind of just showing them and what they did. And they would set up their own shows, they would tour on their own terms, and they would, do their own thing because they wanted to keep ticket prices low. They would do their own ticketing and all that other stuff. And because they wanted to make sure that all their shows were all ages. That was an important thing to them. To them, it was about the music. It wasn't about trying to get drunk or whatever. So they always wanted to make sure that their shows were all ages and that they controlled the way tickets worked so they could keep the door price relatively affordable. Pretty noble thing, and they liked kind of doing it their way. And somebody asked Ian in the documentary at one point, why did they always do that? Why didn't they seek out more commercial opportunities to try to get more mainstream success? And compared to the music industry, they're kind of an anomaly. Well, why is that? And his response, I watched this documentary for the first time when I was maybe a sophomore in high school, but his response really stuck with me to present day, and I appreciated it an awful lot, and I still do. He looked at the interview and he said, some people are in the business of making money, and that's fine. We're in the business of being a band. And that just made so much sense to me. Even as a young person, I got where he was coming from. And I think that to, then transfer this to the media, some people are in the business of making money. Other people are in the business of making news and reporting the news. And if you're going to be a media outlet, especially a mass media outlet that people rely on, you need to be in the business of news reporting and of making news. And I feel that our corporate media is not that at all. They're in the business of making money. And time and time again they proved that. Recently with the CNN president saying he was going to get away from news because it's not financially sustainable and the advertisers don't like it. Despite the fact there's an obligation to the American populace, well, that doesn't matter. That's a backseat. And you can be committed to newsmaking and still be financially sustainable. There's nothing wrong with making money. I mean, we all need money to live. There's nothing wrong with some financial sustainability. It's a good thing. You need that. But there is still a difference between being in the business of making money and being in the business of making news. And our corporate media is in the business of making money. And that is a very, very quick summary of what the big problem of our media is right now. So, onward to 2014. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked that. Hope you appreciated that metaphor. I don't know, maybe you thought it was cool, maybe you thought it was weird. I don't know, but this is Ron Placone signing out.